Oh?
That's the alarm. Derek must be near with his forces.
Do you mean the Dark Lord that we vanquished when we vanquished him?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm going to go and get some help.
Oh.
We watched a movie today.
Space Thunder Kids!
Space Thunder Kids. Now, what could we even begin to say about Space Thunder Kids?
It is so wonderful.
It's a miracle.
It is a wonder to behold. So first off, this was a recommendation
Yes.
of from a fan of ours
Zornance 95.
from like
I think
6 years ago. So we
got
got
the-
to it
got there.
eventually. We do read the comments. We do
Yeah.
read the comments.
Especially the ones telling us to go kill ourselves, but whatever.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's been a while since that one.
So, when it comes to this movie, what you need to know is Korea, back in the early 90s, late 80s, had a very prominent animation mech space battle business.
They still kind of do, but not to the same volume.
And a man by the name of Lai,
This man is lie.
he
lies.
He bought the rights, I guess English distribution rights or something, to a couple of these movies. And rather than dub them individually and release them individually, as the original creators saw fit to do, he combined them all into a single plot, into a single movie, via redubbing, re-editing, reusing footage over and over again.
Directed by the one Elton Rains and written by Chris Goodenough.
Now, tell me, what could Elton Rains have possibly done before and or after this?
Nothing.
What about Chris Goodenough? What did he do before and or after this?
Nothing.
Oh!
I'm assuming that these are pseudonyms or just straight up aliases for Lie. For
What the hell is his name?
was it? It's Joseph Lie.
Joseph Lai.
And then it was also the other producer on this who did a lot of Joseph Lie's other movies too is Betty Chan.
Yep.
From what I understand, also, I mean, of course, this is only on IMDb. It's very limited as to the information available.
Especially
with this.
international.
Yeah, it's a
point.
South Korean. These are cut together from South Korean films, but these were released by like a Hong Kong distributor, because I think that's who Joseph Lai and Betty Chan are.
Yeah.
But
Get
at
it
the
to
same
English
time,
audiences, but just make a quick buck off of something they know English audiences probably don't care about. So yeah, well, I'm going to try to give a plot here, but it's going to be the briefest of plots. So we open up and it's first off, it's a fucking 3-minute trailer before the movie for the movie. That's a part of the movie.
Space Thunder Kids.
Space Thunder Kids, join the action. Space Thunder Kids.
Boom, bing, bang.
They say the name 3 times, showing it in font each time. And then they get into the movie. And the movie is the Dark Emperor is looking to, or was already, maybe, I don't know, control all of the resources and energy in the universe and therefore cement his reign as eternal. The last bastion of freedom or whatever is the Allied Forces of Earth, who are taking him on via mech suits and space battles and whatnot. The rest of the about 80-minute runtime consists of mech battles and space fights and the same footage about 800 times.
I mean, I felt so close to the ships
Yes.
in this movie, and because we saw them so many times, we saw them blow up so many times. I mean, Spaceship Number 7.
Spaceship Number 7 God bless it. And what was the other one? Starlinks? Attack Links? Something Links.
Mega Links.
Mega Links.
Mega Links. Super Links.
Mega Links. Super Links. Whatever it was.
It's Links.
We cared so deeply.
We cared so deeply. We even cared the fact that its design constantly kept shifting in between takes.
And the solar mech was the good guys, and the Links were the bad guys.
I think.
And there were blue-skinned people who are aliens that are all bad, I guess.
I think.
Maybe. Except there's that one that just kind of disappeared. Point being, at the end, they go into kind of like Tron World, which I'm assuming is just one of the animations. The one that the Dark Emperor actually came from, mind you. I say Tron World because they are all light-based things and robots, and they fight by throwing discs. So, kind of obvious, that one. They end up defeating the Dark Emperor. The rest of the forces surrender, and the day is saved. The end. Smash cut to the end.
I think. I think.
Yes, it did say the end. As for the rest of that, I don't know. Up to interpretation.
As for the rest of this exploding fever dream, oh
my god.
Okay, so I've seen my fair share of shitty redubbed animation from the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best examples is Garzy's Wang, which is like the Room of American English dubs. But one, I'm thoroughly convinced that all the male voices in this film are all done by the same dude.
Oh yeah.
And I have a feeling that it was Lai.
Maybe.
And then Betty was the one who did the one female voice for all the female characters, where it wasn't much, and actually some of the female characters were just on screen, just to make sure, like, don't forget, there's a woman here. We're not doing anything with her, but there's a woman here.
Hey man, it's late '80s Korea. I don't know what was going on over there gender wise.
I would be interested because also the trivia on IMDb saying that this movie was from 8 Korean films stitched together. One, I cannot believe that that's true.
I can. Where are you missing that?
Because I think I was just doing a bit of really quick research here, and it looks like there's a couple things that literally are from other things.
Oh, you mean like they pulled from things that aren't those 8 films?
Yeah.
No, I thought you were saying that 8 seemed like too many.
No,
Okay.
no, absolutely not.
All
Like,
right.
It definitely seems like it's enough,
Yeah.
but
No, I see exactly. They're like Transformers and stuff like that.
I
They
don't-
literally call them Transformers. Transformers fighting in the Star Wars area of like they're just copyright means nothing, nothing. Mind you, this entire film is free to watch on YouTube.
I love how this also says animated Tron clone, as this
Yeah.
has to be seen to be
Yeah.
believed.
Yeah.
Though, honestly, like I was telling David throughout this movie, that this would be a perfect movie to riff, because in the form that we saw. Now, to be fair, we saw a clip. We saw the film itself on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of this, because this movie actually has a DVD release. Walmart was selling this in 2005. I don't know what to do with that information.
I'm gonna bury it. I'm gonna forget it.
gonna suppress it.
Yep.
Gonna ignore that it exists.
Doesn't matter.
I'll get it for you for Christmas.
But get what?
But at the same time, like when we were watching this, the ineptitude of how this movie was made is beyond shocking to me.
Oh yeah.
It's not just like it reminds me a lot of the Sandy Frank movies that MST3K did, was like Time of the Apes, where they took, or Space Force, they took like movies or episodes of a show, spliced it into a movie, and redubbed it to make it somehow make sense. This one was like a half-ass version of that, because
It didn't make sense.
I was so confused the majority of the time, and of course
Right.
I didn't really mind because I was having so much fun.
I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
If I were to show you every single character model from this thing, just lined up in order, could you point out which ones were for sure definitely the Space Thunder kids?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
The only reason I'd be able to do that is if you were showing a screenshot of all of them together, because then the Space Thunder Kids is, I think, the one who actually has the kid in it.
I would think so too, except for the fact that like the people who actually took down the Dark Emperor were a different team than that.
I know.
And there was another different
Who wasn't
team.
even introduced until the last third of the movie.
There was another different team before the team that you're talking about at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And they went nowhere either. So I was thinking, oh, they're the Space Thunder Kids. Then we got the second one.
I know,
they're the Space
well,
Thunder
the
Kids. Then we got
Space
the third
Thunder
one.
Kids is basically in like 10% of the movie. Like, we don't see them pretty much at all.
Yeah.
And then we see the same robots going over and over and over
Fighting
again.
an invisible Godzilla.
That blinks in and out of every other frame.
Oh my god.
Because, and then we had, like, you know, Tron. They literally have, like, the throwing the discs things and whatnot. Like, we're not
everything's wire light frames. And
Yeah.
like, when they kill the Dark Emperor, it's not a person who dies. The guy throws his disc at a computer, the computer explodes, and now the Dark Emperor's dead.
Yeah, and the giant battleship at the end is nothing just but wireframes. Yep. I was like, this cannot possibly be the actual battleship.
Yeah, you thought that it was like the blueprint.
Like the blueprints
like
and whatnot.
Star Wars, like
yeah,
blueprints, but nah, that was
it was the ship. And also,
ship.
like, you know, the space submarine shoots torpedoes.
No. And the person driving the space submarine is a lady with an eye patch with a tiny little diminutive robot named Sandy, who is never mentioned before the point where they ask
or
her
after,
if she could.
Or after, and they're apparently sisters.
Then they blow up the ship, and then there's still 7 minutes after that,
No, wait.
where they go and take down a base, and the guy who's running the general then finds out that the Dark Emperor died and surrenders. Like that, they did an epilogue in the movie, like where it's like, you know how in the story version of Return of the King, there's the whole thing where they come back to the Shire,
yeah,
and it's still overrun with that.
Yeah.
And Peter Jackson cut that,
yeah,
because they had their big thing, and then they just needed to, you know,
taper off. Yeah.
This one didn't have that. This one had like, yes, the Dark Emperor is dead, but we're still dealing with all of his forces.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, when the Dark Emperor dies, you wrap up. That's it. Game over.
We're enough of this, please.
Yeah, just stop. Go ahead and have the ceremony where they hand out the medals and Chewbacca standing over there. I don't care.
Then you have like the constant giant space dildos.
Yep.
That had the giant red arrows pointing toward
their one weakness.
One toward the lasers is like, yo, like fire here.
Oh god.
And like the wireframe super battleship that's supposed to be able to like take on everything.
It gets shot by torpedoes once.
It gets shot by once, shot through it again. And they come back. They're like, oh, the maiden voyage is a success, and then she comes
Nothing can defeat us.
and shoots the back of it, and it crumbles. It falls apart like it was made out of sticks. And also, like, another thing about that, though, was like the wireframe itself. I mean, okay, maybe it's like this high tech like type of bullshit they're trying to pull off.
I was thinking it was like cloaking or something.
Yeah, but it fell apart, and there was nothing that came out of it. It was just all the wireframes coming apart. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense.
My favorite bit, though, just that set the tone of the whole thing, was they had like that intro trailer thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And then they had...
You thought I was playing the trailer at first.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then you were like, no, it's 82 minutes long. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And then I double-checked like the runtime of the thing according to IMDb, which is 82 minutes. So that wasn't a trailer. That's part of the runtime.
And it says its title like, what, 2 or 3 times in the beginning?
3 times. I don't know if you remember this, but when 4Kids did a localization of the Digimon movie.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the thing, it's part of the movie. It is in the runtime. They had, I think it was on Fox Kids or whatever, Angela Anaconda or something. It was a shitty little cartoon show, but like they did a thing where like it crossed over with Digimon, and it's part of the movie. No matter where you watch this localization, it is part of the movie. And this is what I feel like this was, where it was just like, hey guys, we're just going to make a little trailer for you. You can go ahead and separate that out when you distribute.
Nah.
And it was like, nah, gets across everything we need. They're going to be pumped. We're going to keep it in.
Space Thunder Kids.
But the part that I was saying that I love so much was that you get the Dark Emperor expositing, like, I'm the Dark Emperor, and here's what I want, and here's what I do. And then we cut to a spaceship of the Alliance side, and they just do nothing for like a solid 30 seconds. Like, they're looking around. The captain literally looks at his watch. And we're like, did we get here early? Did you not run the
We're
cameras
waiting for the
yet?
scene to start.
I was like, what? And then all of a sudden the computer clicks on. It's like, oh, there's an intruder approaching from behind. It's like, oh, okay, now the plot's here. Good.
No way. No.
But that happens like 3 times over the course of the movie where everything just kind of stops for a minute and we just wait for the movie to catch up.
And it's funny too because there's certain scenes like when some of the ships are starting to get shot at. There was this one that was really funny that the guy like did like a flip away from everything. Everyone else is just standing still. Nothing else happens. There's
They're
no
firing
reason.
at us! God!
Yeah,
Jerry,
but-
what the fuck?
And then they repeat it, and then things start exploding. So it makes sense because they actually, put it with
my
the shooting. But at the same time, there's so much
Like, I can't even imagine-
firefighting.
That scene in particular, there's an explosion outside, the one guy goes flying. I can't even imagine how that worked in the original dub.
No.
There's no way that could have worked,
No.
ever.
The movies themselves that were stitched into this were shitty to begin with,
Yeah.
but this made it on a new level.
Oh my god.
I want to apologize. It took so long for us to get to this because this is one of the ripest pieces of content that we've probably ever
Yeah.
done for this. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. Mainly, like, from the beginning, from the first 2 minutes, I'm like, what's going on? Who should I care about? Nothing makes sense.
And-
This is going to be great.
And by the last 30 minutes of the movie, we were asking those same questions.
Yeah, nothing...
What's
nothing,
going on? Who should I care about?
Nothing evolved. Nothing
Nothing-
changed. No arcs
It was
happened.
ridiculous.
Most of the characters, like, unless they were dumping a massive amount of exposition, which still didn't help,
No.
they weren't doing anything.
But even then, like, all the exposition was just like things that just make sense from a storytelling perspective. Like, oh, the Alliance is fighting against the Dark Emperor. Yeah, we get that. Clearly, if there's
Yeah.
a guy named Dark Emperor, you're going to have people fighting against. I get that.
I love that the ending and whatnot, the guy was just like, we must fight for the Dark Emperor. Sir, we just got a news that the Dark Emperor is dead. Oh, well, I guess
surrender.
We surrender now. I guess you don't really have that much conviction, do you? It's like, if you were fighting for the Dark Emperor, it'd be like, go down in glory, motherland.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, there are like at least 4 different generals for the Dark Emperor that each get their focus. Like, we get the whole, like, not in any sort of storytelling perspective, but within the space battles, they keep cutting back.
Yeah, and
to
the last
generals.
one, though, the last one's the only one that lives.
Yeah.
There's that one guy who gets, like, taken out by a fucking firing squad.
They particularly say, before he gets started, he's like, well, all of the other Dark Emperor's forces are dead. It's up to us now to fulfill the Dark Emperor's plans. And then they show his entire armada, which is like 5 ships.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are gonna rule the universe with 5 ships.
And also, I'd like to also point out that out of your entire army that has taken over, like, the multitude of the galaxy by this point, you're getting stopped by one robot who you guys
Just keeps running into his fist.
Yeah, like, there's just times that it's flying and, like, the fist is just, like, this toward the screen and there's just ships, like, banging into it and they're not doing anything else. Oh, it's so good.
I guess that's one
It's
thing.
so satisfyingly bad.
It's one thing. It was the I want to say I'm gonna. They want to say the word looping animation. I want to say the word getting done with some animation, then restarting it, because a loop implies that
There's some seamlessness
there's
to
some
it.
seamlessness.
Like, Hanna-Barbera got the looping shit right with the backgrounds.
But these guys, nah, man. Whenever they're going through space, all of a sudden it's like, and star here, and then all of a sudden in the next frame, punk.
It's like, nope, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's in
Nope.
space. Though the best one was like where one of the soldiers is looking out the window and you just see the stars and all of a sudden it just hard cuts to a static shot of just the planet and she just turns around and is like, there's a planet in sight, sir. I'm like, yeah, no shit, you jump cut it into
They made
existence.
the joke that she just turned off the screensaver, and that was like,
She just moved the mouse.
Oh shit, this was here, guys. Did anyone know about this?
It's like Spaceballs and whatnot. I was like, fast forward the movie. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir.
Oh my god.
Oh, like,
I do want to say there are parts of this movie where the audio is just gone.
it's just gone.
I want to chalk that up to maybe just like a capture issue.
Yeah.
When they were moving it, because like mouths are moving, space battles are happening, Nothing is being heard.
If
so-
anybody who owns this movie and who actually knows that if that's actually just gone, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I would love to know that, and
If
I'm
that's-
not going to
if
buy
that's
this movie.
in the official cut,
Yeah.
then this movie immediate plus 2 points
Yeah.
on top of a perfect 10.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it just, we were, during those segments, after the second time, we were just filling in the sound effects ourselves and what people were saying. And it was,
So, this movie is so enjoyable with people.
yeah,
that
you
can
have
just
to watch
fucking-
this with the group. It's
Or be drunk.
Dude, both. There's actually a review on IMDb. It's just like, okay, no, actually, one of the things that articles that I was watching that was breaking this down. It's on collectiondx.com.
Okay.
And it's just like, okay, it's like nothing. You don't know what's going on. All right, get more drunk. Because this is definitely so. You can make a fun drinking game out of this movie.
Undoubtedly.
Like, there's so much material that you could use. Don't do it whenever time you see an explosion because you'll die.
I would say anytime a good rule would be anytime that a giant mech robot that has the capabilities of guns popping out of it uses a medieval weapon,
like an axe.
like an axe or a mace.
There's-
Take a drink.
There's a mace, ball and chain.
Yep.
It's like I'm trying to think if they have any of that. They have the laser sword, but that's pretty typical with Gundam stuff.
Anytime a character pops up and it seems like you should know who they are, but you've definitely never seen them before.
Or if you
Take a
have
drink.
seen them before, but you have no fucking clue who they are. We were trying to guess who the Dark Emperor was for like the first half of the movie.
The problem with the generals, as we were saying, was like they give these guys in like focus, but they never really say, except for the one guy at the end, that they are generals. So we're like, oh, okay, so the guy who's like, I am the Dark Emperor, that's the Dark Emperor. But because we knew this was 8 movies, we were like, oh, are they going to do the thing where it's like, oh, now he looks like that now, and that's the Dark Emperor?
Does he have a new form?
No. Yes.
Is he a fake Dark Emperor and this is the real Dark Emperor?
Tron?
Tron.
Tron.
And like you have like the showdown between some of these characters where it's just like, oh, this has been building up to the whole movie. Ah! Like the
fight.
Captain America
The disc
throwing
fight.
the discs, the discs going back and forth makes no sense. One, but at the same time, the hero finally throws the disc and it hits them, and his disc breaks in half. But somehow that kills him, and then he fucking phases out of existence.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But it's so good to just sit there and laugh at the absurdity of it.
Guys, Sandy Frank movies were recut variations of shit, but he ended up making like the actual film like have a story. There's a beginning that you can tell that this is obviously pieced together from shit that was not meant to be telling the story, but it still works.
It's the most like genre film in the way of the overall plot, where it's just, hey, evil guy, good guy, in space, battles. That's all it is. There's nothing more to the plot. That's not me saying that the plot is like light or anything. No, there's nothing more to the plot.
No.
And it knows it didn't have to do anything more with the plot because, hey, it's just a shitty little... The fact that they took 8 films worth of work, 8 films, people with careers made these things.
In theory.
Slaved over them to get them out to the audiences. Someone bought them up, chopped them up, and said, here's my Frankenstein's monster. You are privileged to have this.
Welcome to the suck.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really the kids that we say are the Space Thunder kids. There's a beautiful little moment, just a beautiful little moment where they're sitting there, and I guess they came in, they wrecked shop, and they fucking nailed it, and then they're just sitting there for a moment, and it's quiet. It's one of those moments where nobody's saying anything, and then it cuts to the kid, the youngest of the group, and he's like, first off, his eyes are literally sliding off his face, and it holds on for about 30 seconds, and then he says, Professor said that we're going to come out and fight some big robots, but that wasn't so hard, and now I'm bored.
It's like, what? Ladies and gentlemen.
That was...
And then there's like one shot where like they're trying to show like really intensity, so it's like a still frame. It's just like, it's like, oh.
It's some like cocky pilot, but it's not like different angles, like cutting in.
No.
It's literally just pushing and rotating the exact same shot.
And it's not like that was not like built into it. That you could tell that someone
was
took the
posed.
frame and actually magnified it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, whenever there's manipulation of the matte background
Yeah.
in, like, old animations, you can tell when they are just doing something to the matte background.
Yeah.
It was that sort of thing where it's like, there's no change in any animation here. It's just the single frame.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Like, honestly,
Just wrap up. Final
Yeah,
thoughts.
I cannot recommend this movie for the fodder that it is enough. It is probably one of the most entertaining sits that we've had for this show, probably in its entire run. There have been a couple movies where I have enjoyed before.
150 episodes. This was it.
Yeah, it's like so. Like, you know, I know that Creature I enjoyed. I know that Avengers Grimm I enjoyed.
Did you know there's a sequel to that?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, but this one, without a doubt, I definitely would have to say that this is the most fun I've ever had for a Shitflix film. I can't recommend this more just to laugh at the incredulousness of it. If somehow, Mr. Lie, if you're out there, I want to know what the fuck you were thinking with this shit. I would love to know, and I want to know exactly what you were on when you were cutting this thing together.
Same thing. It's not his only thing. So the same thing that he was cutting all the other films.
It was Quaaludes. It's not around anymore. But overall, like, yeah, this movie is a mess in every sense. Where it's terribly acted, terribly put together, terribly scripted. Everything about this is terrible. Everything about this is the worst example possible of this type of medium for this time of the era at that time, the early '90s, late '80s. So. But at the same time, though, I can't think of another single animated film from around this time that has all these terrible qualities that are just done so wonderfully put together. And also, I want to say that if the space battles that have no sound in it, congratulations, movie, for being one of the few films that accurately depict a battle in space.
Whether it's intentionally or not.
Yeah, in space, no one can hear you scream or blow up or burn.
But no, for me, the exact same thing. I mean, it's weird in that you think of like people parodying the old Speed Racer sort of cartoons. Yeah. This would have been that. It starts out almost like a parody of that. When people are sitting around literally looking at their watches, I thought like this is going to be extremely self-aware. It wasn't. No. It had no self-awareness. That was played straight. And that
everything in this is meant to be taken seriously.
That blows my mind. I'm like, this is a parody. This is what a parody wishes it could be. In that, like, everyone's sitting there just scratching their heads like, seriously? What?
It's lightning in a bottle. Like,
it's incredible.
Dude, that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in watching more of Lie's productions to see if this is a common theme throughout it.
If you go ahead, I linked to it before. I'll see if I can link to it again. I don't know if I can, but watch it. Watch through this. It's on YouTube. It's just 80 minutes. If you are interested in hearing more about this stuff and seeing more of this, let us know because. By God, I am.
I want more of Lie's films in here. I want him to become another
Dakota.
Dakota. I want him to be one of our mascot directors or producers.
When it comes down to this, I'm floored and I love it. And
we might have to rearrange our list.
I don't know how enjoyable it would be if you're just sitting there by yourself, sober.
At least with another person, watch it together,
with another person that
it.
you can sit there and just laugh with. It is so worth it. So yeah, those are our thoughts on
Space Thunder Kids.
Hey guys, I returned with help to help us fight Derek.
Huh? Oh.
By contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.